At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's the Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, back from a small hiatus. With me tonight is Evan Jennison. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. We love kicking off with a song, so what have you got for us this evening?
All right, cool. This first song is called City Vans. Oh, sorry, my bad. Cooler here, the salt blows from the sea. The castle on the shore is weathered now. The drawbridge is creaking and the stony roof is leaking, and the tapestries are soon to be torn down. There are skeletons on every corner. The empty haunts from way back when are gone, immortalized in messy minds of those who came to watch. They hadn't felt that way in so long. City veins and silver trains that ramble slowly by, and golden leaves are crushed upon the tracks. Morning dew and tie rails too beside the pavement lie. The music that they played there takes me back. There were skeletons on every corner. The empty haunts from way back when are gone, immortalized in messy minds of those who came to watch. They hadn't felt that way in so long. And that's where I am going, where the cigarettes are glowing. The street lamps light the path to stranger days. And if I could shake those hands and go, I'd surely follow them. The dance and spin in darkness on the way. Yeah, that's where I am going, where the cigarettes are glowing. The street lamps light the path to stranger days. If I could shake those hands and go, I'd surely follow them, and dance and spin in darkness on the way. Yeah, dance and spin in darkness on the way.
Evan Jennison there with City Veins. So, Evan, you were here about this time last year with your other band, Exuero.
Yeah, that's true. That was a fun time.
Yeah. So when we last spoke, that was the first live performance you had in a long time.
Yeah.
We were midst of the pandemic at that point. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about your life and how music shaped things between then and now.
Well, I've been writing a lot more just on my own, because that's how I usually write in general, I think, and I've kind of just been stockpiling songs ever since then. It would have been after I was on this with Exuero, but I released a 4-song EP called Early to Rise, and that was like my pandemic project because everybody sort of seemed to have their own. But that was my thing I did, and I had a lot of fun with that. And after that, that was the most I had written, and only 2 of the songs on that are original. That one, the last one I just played, City Veins, is on there, but I never really stopped since then. So I've just sort of been, like I said, like stockpiling original music. So, yeah.
What was the decision to kind of go off and do your own thing? And to be clear, are you still with Exuero, or
yeah.
is that still,
Yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
disbanded?
It's just harder to find time because like 2 of us have now graduated high school. I'm not included in that, but 2 of the band, and then 1 is still like in high school, and then me, I'm about to. So it's kind of hard to find time to get everybody together. But we're planning a Halloween show, so that's cool. So that'll be kind of like a comeback show because we haven't played since July. But yeah, I've been doing a couple little things on my own here and there, like I'm playing at breweries and stuff like that because there's a million breweries to play in Vermont. But yeah, so stuff like this is really fun for me when I get to play sort of my own songs because my stuff like this is like way different than what I play with the other band. But yeah.
So besides obviously how difficult it is to try and get everyone together, especially when people go away to college, and I think you're obviously at that age where people start getting scattered to the wind, was it also a stylistic reason why you decided to go out on your own, and rather than maybe replace bandmates or try and find a new band project, was it because you did want to put your own mark on something?
I guess, I mean, yeah, I would agree with that because I kind of have a different music taste than most of the other guys in the band, and that's totally cool because you can always find something to play with everybody that works for everybody. But on my own, like the music I listen to is like just so different. So that's sort of, I play a lot more like what I listen to, and so when I'm playing outside of the band, I kind of get to be a little bit more myself. I feel like sometimes, even though, I mean, that's not always true, but I get to play more of my original music because, I'm not going to walk up on stage with a rock band and play a bunch of folk songs the entire show. But yeah, I still can do that sometimes. But yeah, I've kind of always been writing on my own. Like I wouldn't say I like went out on my own, but I've like more recently because of the fact that everybody's sort of, doing their own thing too. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was more of the catalyst than anything.
Yeah.
So obviously stylistically you're different than XORO, which we can hear this evening. You're not got that kind of a heavier rock kind of
No.
feel. You got that singer-songwriter, folk singer kind of feel to it. Lyrically speaking, are you also what are you bringing forth with the stuff that you're writing in comparison to maybe the sort of stuff you wrote with XORO?
I think the lyrics are actually the one thing that sort of stayed the same. Like I tend to sort of write the same over different genres, which I think is cool because you can get different feels to music and different genres and stuff. So like the lyrics I write for XORO are pretty similar to the stuff I write on my own, and it's cool to hear them in different contexts with like different genres and stuff. So.
Do you ever bring some of your original kind of solo work to XORO or vice versa and kind of see how it, as you said, kind of how it sounds as a folk song, and maybe it will give a different message the way that you sing it now rather than with the band?
Yeah, totally. We played just to add to our set length. We played a bunch of my newer songs last show, and like I don't only do like acoustic stuff. Like my other solo stuff is like it's kind of like light rockish kind of. So like not quite like XORO, which is more like progressive or alternative maybe, but still rock. So we can still play those with a full band, but. One of the songs we played last time, that was the last song, which is like the heaviest one that we like close out every show with. Actually started as just an acoustic song that I'd written, and I think Kai, the bass player, was like, "What if we played it as a reggae song?" And that's sort of how that took off. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, as a solo artist, do you feel less pressure, more pressure to kind of get the songs down? How do you approach kind of crafting songs? Are you like your own worst enemy at this one, or do you kind of give yourself the free rein to kind of do it as and when?
I used to like restrict myself so much, or I'd like write something and then like 2 seconds later I'd be like, oh, that's terrible, and then like erase it all. And I don't do that anymore. Like I force myself to like, okay, give it a second chance, or like, you can make it better. You can make it better. So like I've really been trying to give myself a little more slack, because I used to be really strict like that, but now I feel like I give myself more freedom to write what I really want to.
Has that changed the way that you write at all? I mean, obviously it does in the sense of you coming back to it, but do you find yourself digging into things that you otherwise wouldn't, or tackle more difficult subjects?
Yeah, I used to like I used to have this weird thing in my mind where I thought like, oh, I'm never gonna write about myself because that's being like generic or something. But like, that's not true. Like, don't listen to that. So like, I started thinking like, well, I can write about my own issues and stuff and put them into songs because like all my other songs, like most of my songs are about other people or just people I make up, but they're usually about something or someone. So yeah, I've kind of been getting better at drawing from my own life instead of relying on things around me.
Yeah. And in terms of like the recording process, as you said, you came out with a 4-track EP in February called Early to Rise.
Yeah.
You said a couple of songs on there were originals and a couple were covers.
Yeah, there's 2 originals and then there's a Dylan song and a Dead song I chose to do.
Yeah. And in terms of the recording process, without obviously an entire band that has to kind of get coordinated and figure out dates and figure out money and obviously it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
The more people you get. How did you find the recording process for that EP?
Well, that was done entirely like between my basement and my bedroom, and I decided like, oh no, I don't really need to go pay for it because if I'm just using acoustic instruments and I know all my own parts and stuff, then like that's how I was able to like bang that out pretty fast. Like I did it over like maybe like a month of like recording and re-recording and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to be able to do it on my own, and it's nice to know that I can do that because basically like I don't have to teach the parts to anybody or nobody has to come up with parts. So it's just me playing what I want to play and recording it at the same time.
Yeah. Did you do the mixing and mastering yourself as well? Was the whole thing from like soup to nuts?
Yeah, it was pretty much all me, and like I definitely got advice from other people and stuff, and learned from people over the years about how to do that stuff. But it's all me, and it's probably not the best sounding record ever made, and then I'll own up to that, obviously. But yeah, I think it sounds good and it gets the job done, and I just wanted to show people what I've been doing that whole time because I was not doing much for a while because you couldn't, like nobody was doing anything.
Yeah, I don't think that first EP needs to be the best thing in the world at the end of the day. It's more
it rarely is.
Yeah, it's just more about getting it out there and seeing what your limitations are and what it is you're good at, and really just providing kind of that foundation to then go on and make something that you feel is more you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'd love to hear another song.
Cool,
so
yeah.
what have you got?
This song is called Getting on a Train. This one is brand new. It's not on the EP I was talking about. And this is the second time I've ever played this song live, so almost an exclusive performance. But yeah, all right. It's called Getting on a Train. I'm getting on a train and I'm going, not sure when, but the fun is knowing. One of these days I will buy myself a ticket and I'll just stop playing, leaving nothing but the crickets. I'm sick and tired of being cut into the wrong shape. Just another day until I fade into the landscape. I'm going down to the station in the morning. No farewells, not a single word of warning. I'm getting on a train any day now. I will leave you stranded and you'll see how it feels now. I'm sick and tired of being head of operations when my employees are children and my office is a basement. I'm going down to the station by the river and I look over my shoulder as you cry and you shiver. Cause I'll be sitting in my window seat with a panoramic view and some room for my feet, yeah. Weaknesses are showing. I can't go and let my city fall to rubble, cause it's all that I have and I love a little trouble. So I'll be sick and tired for a little bit longer, and I'll get by and I will grow a little stronger. I can't go and let my city fall to rubble, cause it's all that I know and I love a little trouble. So I'll be sick and tired for a little bit longer, and I'll get by and I will grow a little stronger. I'm getting on a train and I'm going, not sure when, but the fun is known.
All right there, Getting on a Train by Evan Jennison. So as you said, that was a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Almost a Big Heavy World exclusive.
Almost, yeah.
Where was the first time you played it?
I played it at Hogback Mountain Brewery in Bristol, and yeah, I don't think there were that many people there, so well,
Okay.
yeah, pretty close to exclusive, I gotta say, yeah.
We'll take it. So as you implied earlier on as well, that since releasing that EP, you've continued to write and continue to write, and obviously that's a testament to that, Getting on a Train. So what are you planning to do with these new tracks? What's the plan going forward?
The plan is to keep working, because I recently got a job, and, you know, that's how you make money, to be able to record things. So keep working, save some money, and find a studio and record them and just share them, because that's, you know, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to, you know, record all my stuff and then share it with everybody, because I'm really excited about how everything's sounding. So, yeah.
Do you already have that kind of track list already laid out, or are you still writing? You feel like there's some gaps, there's something missing? Where are you at with it?
There's like 5 solid songs that I could probably go and record right now, but I just keep writing more. So the longer I wait, the more songs I have to record. So, you know, I'm just, you know, or maybe I could save them for later. But, you know, the amount of songs just keeps growing. So yeah.
Can you see this potentially being a full album rather than another EP?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. That's what I would want. So even if it meant waiting a little longer to get everything finished up, like, I really want to do this next one, like, right. Because the first one was cool, you know, in my, you know, room and all, but, like, you know, I kind of want something like, yeah, you know?
Yeah, of course. How many of these kind of got written, you know, as we're kind of still in the pandemic? In fact, how many out of the 2 songs that were the originals in the EP, did they reflect kind of the state of being at the time? You know, as you said, no one could go out, no one could do anything. You felt very close to the way. You couldn't see your band really. Mm-hmm. Do your songs reflect that kind of that feeling of being trapped, or did you go somewhere else when you wrote them?
Some of them actually, yeah. I wrote City Veins a really long time ago. Probably over a year ago now, and that was inspired by a trip to New York I took, and so that one I decided to, like, you know, restructure and include on Early to Rise, because, you know, it sort of describes a different kind of place, and it's nice to be able to, like, look back on that when you're stuck in a place where you really can't go anywhere or do anything. So I don't know if a lot of them reflect the, you know, pandemic trapped feeling, but that one I feel like, you know, I think that one does.
Like a yearning for freedom. Yeah,
and, you know, to be back where, you know, you felt joy or whatever.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned that, you know, you started to realize you can write about yourself a little bit, which is good. I mean, you write what you know. With the tracks that you're writing about now, is that the theme that's going on around it? Kind of your own experiences in the last year, 2 years, or is it? As you said, you kind of make people up, or you kind of took someone else's story, or something like that.
Some of them are definitely about, you know, or at least started about me, and sometimes I just go off on something completely different and it turns into something else. But, you know, some are about experiences I've had or things that I've seen. There's one song that I'm finishing up that's about, I was playing a show at Radio Bean, and there was a lady outside who was, I don't know what was going on, but she was saying some funny stuff, and we were walking by, and she yelled at us. It was with my band, and she goes, "It's a new moon, boys." So, like, I finished a song. I said I'm going to write about a song about that experience, because that was super funny, and I love things like that. So that's one of the songs on there. So that's about and I know nothing about her, but, you know, you kind of just have to make it up and fill in the gaps here. But, you know. Yeah,
and I think in that moment, she was a character in your head, and you kind of extrapolated that, and I think some of the best songs have that just kernel of truth, and you kind of can build some fantasy around that. And, you know, for you in that moment, and right now after you finish writing it, she's still a very real person.
Yeah, I hope she hears that someday. And
right.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Maybe we'll track her down. We'll hang out outside Radio Bean.
We'll get her.
Yeah. Yeah, do notice that you've been doing a lot of gigging this summer. See you were at Bristol Wreckfields, in the Bristol Park, Hogback Mountain Brewing, as you said. There was a free show in Manchester as well, but I believe that was with the other band.
Gent Treadley, yeah.
Right. But that's, you know, you've definitely kind of racked them up.
Yeah.
What's that been experience, kind of being out and about, and, you know, people finally getting back into the bars? I mean, as you're only 16 or 17, obviously the bars might not be a thing that you're too aware of, but how is that feeling in terms of the receptiveness of the audience?
It's my favorite thing is being out and playing shows like that. And if I had my way, I'd be doing that every weekend, or at least every weekend, but more if possible. But playing with and those guys are all older than me, and I was like, it was an honor to be invited for that. So like that was just super cool. And the great thing is that those guys play the music that I'm talking about that I like to play. So it's really fun, and I feel like I fit in there because I know the music, and the crowd was always super supportive of that. And it was cool to be in those places where I'm not legally allowed to enter, but
There you go. You get a little glimpse of your future.
Yeah.
We were referring there to a band called Gent Treadley, which is one of Evan's. You said it's like a family friend's band.
Yeah, my uncle and his lifelong friend. They grew up in Rye, New York, and they've been playing together forever. And Gent Treadley is kind of my uncle's friend's band, and whoever is with Greg is his name. That's Gent Treadley. So he sort of just, arranges lineups of people and wherever they're playing. That's Gent Treadley. So it was cool to be part of that for one night.
Oh, wonderful. So you are officially in Gent Treadley, but so many other
rotating lineup.
Yes,
I don't know if it'll
yeah.
happen again, but it was cool for once.
For that one night at least, you were officially a
Yeah.
Gent Treadley band member.
On the bill, yeah.
You said that they play the sort of music that you like playing. So what kind of music do they play? What was it about them that you kind of like you're drawn towards?
It's a lot of Grateful Dead. That's the main thing. That's what I like. That's what I play, and just older bands like that. And they do the long form jamming, which is just my favorite thing because I like to see where, like I can't imagine. I just like personally now that I've been exposed to like different kind of music like that, I can't imagine getting up on stage and like playing the same song the same way like over and over again. Like that just doesn't compute anymore. Like the two songs I've played so far, like I've never. I've played them similar, but, it's always different, and I always try to make it different, so it's unique every time.
What is it about changing it up every single time that appeals to you?
It just makes it more interesting, I feel like, so it's not, and especially for the audience, especially because a lot of those bands, like, the same people would go time and time and time again, but, to get different versions and have different sounds for every time is just, like, the best thing ever to me, like, experimenting with different stuff live and giving the audience something different to listen to is just so cool to me.
And so when you play your own music, you said you kind of have tried to bring that philosophy, that ideology into your own live performances. Yeah. Do you find that your songs are evolving as you play them?
Yeah, I think about adding new stuff all the time, and my eventual goal is to have a band, and this can be like years in the future, but have a band of people that are like-minded like that, because like I want people to change my songs. I want people to play them differently and do things to them because they'll hear something a different way than I do, and that's why like people ask me what songs mean, and I'll be like, it's up to you. Like I never like to say like, well, this is what I wrote it about, but songs mean different things to everybody, and I love to hear what people think my songs are about. I love that, but yeah, I try to refrain from being like, no, this song is about this, and I think that sort of comes into play with the whole evolving song or playing it differently on stage or something. But yeah, I try to do that. I do that a lot in Exo Aero shows too. Like I never play the same solo twice, rarely, but if it's a really good solo, maybe I'll play it twice, but I try to change things up and sing things differently or add different solo breaks and sections and stuff because it's just really fun and it's cool to just be up there and mess around and have fun. Yeah.
Does the meanings of the songs change for you the more you play them and as they evolve?
I've definitely had a couple where I've started with a line and I've thought it's going to be about something else, and then I'm like, or I'll read a whole song after I'm done with it. I'm like, oh, this is totally a metaphor for something else that I didn't even realize or something. So that, yeah, sometimes the songs definitely change and evolve and mean different things.
Yeah. Has that ever happened where, you've definitely got it in your head, like, this is what this is about, and you've recorded it, or you've been playing it for a long time, and then over time, because of experience or because of the different way you change the way you play it, it becomes something else entirely?
Yeah, I totally did. I have a new song that I'm not going to play tonight, but I started writing it from the point of view of a caged bird in a rich person's house. But it ended up being sort of a metaphor for like the homelessness problem in America, and like it was crazy. I didn't even see that coming, and then I read it and I was like, wow, this is like really representative of that. So I thought that was cool, and that's something that I've always that's been like an issue that's been like close to me because like I've seen that, and it just, it doesn't sit well with me, and it's just a bummer. But I've written about that in a couple songs. But yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those subjects that really like touches like your psyche, your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there any other songs that you have? I mean, you said you kind of written about that with a couple of songs, homelessness and houselessness. Is there any other kind of bigger issues, like larger societal issues that you kind of end up reflecting on or going back to in your songs a lot?
I've written there's been a few songs where like the main themes have been like addiction and stuff like that. It's just like, it's not something I've experienced, but it's something I've like, I've seen, and it's something that, again, like is an issue that, I don't know, somehow, for some reason, it hits home for me. Like I think it's so messed up, and I think it's good to write about. And because a lot of people, when they think about stuff like that, is they only see the bad side of it, but they don't understand what's going on behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's good to sort of expose like the other things that are going on.
Yeah, you grew up and still live in Starksborough, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And obviously, rural Vermont's got a horrendous opioid problem.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I'm sure you've seen that firsthand or secondhand, or know
Yeah.
people in a big way. So I'm sure that affects
yeah.
your life in a lot. How much for you does writing help you process these things?
It really gives me a space to like talk about it more, and it really helps, I think, because I'm not like struggling with those issues at heart really, but I really like talking about them or singing about them, because that means other people are learning more. And I'm not saying I'm an expert on anything, but it's good to get it out there so that other people can realize how much of a problem it is, or like what's going on behind it, because
I don't think you necessarily need to be an expert in something to write about how it makes you personally feel.
Totally,
You can. Yeah, I think it's valuable, even just on a personal level, to be able to put that out and put that into words and be able to communicate that off into the ether, and maybe someone else will connect to you on that.
Yeah, I love that when people come to, like, and it doesn't happen often because obviously I'm 17 and in high school, but when people come to me and they say like, oh, I really like this part in your song, or like like I said, like when people tell me what it means to them, it feels good to hear that, and I really like when I feel like I've made a difference, even if it's like one person a year that comes up to me and says that.
All right. Well, we would love to hear another song. So what have you got?
All right, this last song is called "Forget Me Not." Shivers by to handshake for the compromise. Focus on the flower in the desert night, lily of the valley or a parasite. So I put her on my arm with the others. Maybe I will find your sisters and brothers. Time marches on, young she will stay. The worlds that she wanders are wasting away. Oh, animated eyes, force a revelation. What is your address and what's your situation? I guess we'll see, I guess you'll spill when we go walking and we your foggy head free. Forget me not when you look at me. Did you know how to find your way back when they saw you treading on the train track? And I like to wonder how it'd be a different way, but now it seems our arms are empty for today. Oh, animated eyes, force a revelation. What is your address and what's your situation? I guess we'll see, I guess you'll spill when we go walking and we will. and they will be best-selling. I cannot speak for you, but I'll provide narration. What is your address and what's your situation? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll spill when we go walking, and we will. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess you'll spill when we go walking, and we will.
All right, Forget Me Not by Evan Jennison there. Before I let you go, a few things remain. Have you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah, I mean, not for me personally, but Exoero, I think we'll be, and I'll get it confirmed and posters out soon, but I believe we'll be playing Halloween night, Sunday night, in the Bristol Town Green, so yeah, you can catch us there.
Fantastic.
Maybe I'll play a few of these songs. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get the boys to let me.
Right, and a bit of a homecoming gig on that one as well.
Yeah.
And if people would like to listen to your EP and find out the new music that you'll be creating, where will they find it?
Yeah, well, so my Spotify is just Evan Jennison, so you can hit me up there, and my Instagram is also Evan Jennison, so it makes it nice and easy. And Instagram is really where I do my posting. I'm on Facebook, but I rarely log on. I forget to, but I should get better at that. But yeah, Evan Jennison on all three of those things is where I'm at. If you
right.
want to keep up.
No one's on Facebook these days apart from old people and me, apparently. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Evan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Not at all. And yeah, just keep coming in as soon as you bring out some new tracks.
Will do, yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, that's about all we've got time for today. Before I go, I really would like to thank Abby for filling in for the past few weeks. I have been away in England, and she was an absolute superstar. Filled in, and yeah, she just did a fantastic job. So thank you very much, Abby. She was wonderful. I gave a little listen to a few of those podcasts, and yeah, you absolutely killed it, mate. So join us next week. We're going to have Lillian and the Muses. They'll be coming on. They are a really interesting band. Go check them out on our website right now. There's some fantastic music videos they've created. So check us out. That'll be Wednesday, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock as always. But this has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.